than Ahmad Shah Massoud. It's been my honor to address this gathering. Thank you.
Thank you, Ted. Thank you for that. Another very personal reflection there, and looking at both the military, but also the civic and the almost spiritual side of Shah Massoud's leadership. We're very grateful for that. I'm slightly conscious of time. We have 3 more invited guests. We had hoped to finish as close to 3 o'clock as possible, so I would ask the remaining speakers just to be conscious of that, so that everyone has a chance to hear at least some of your thoughts. The next person we'll hear from is Zainab Homan, who's the Chief Executive of Afghan Action UK. So Zainab, if you're with us, we'd be delighted to hear from you.
Dear Boris, thank you. Dear Boris, dear Bustani, Your Excellency, and dear distinguished guests and friends, hello to all of you. سلام و احترام خاص به فامیل شهید مسعود بزرگ و دوستای خاصشان که هم رزمشان بودن و در میدان جنگ با هم رزمیدن. It's my pleasure and an honor to participate in this event commemorating the 19th anniversary of the great Massoud. Let me also applaud the bravery of the Scottish as well as the British troops who are present here, along with all allies who truly fought supporting a long-lasting peace. I wholeheartedly thank Bustani Saib for initiating such a great platform for us to come together, knowing each other and sharing our thoughts. I would like to commend the many years of the great Massoud's defending his countrymen and humanity, which was led, of course, by him, which were mainly guiding the objectives of a long-term peace in Afghanistan and ultimately in the world. As Christina pointed out earlier, I too believe that the great Massoud would have been proud of an inclusive program as today, having learning much about him by now. I have learned that Massoud, I have learned that Massoud has inspired millions of young male and female in supporting peace and inclusiveness. The great Massoud continued to address male and female by addressing them as his sisters and his brothers. Massoud was a highly charismatic leader who fantastically led by example. He did that by not only commanding, but fighting in the battlefield alongside his fellow fighters. I have watched his documentaries where the legend uses his spare time reading poems to his companions, clearly showing the importance of seeking knowledge. Massoud addresses his fellows directly, addressing drugs as a concern affecting their health and ultimately the society. Let me also share a sweet but funny story of a French lady who I met in France a couple of years ago, and she told me how she was in search of an Afghan man that resembled the great Massoud. And she was particularly saying that a man that exactly resembles Massoud in every manner. I am proud to be in here, and thank you very much for giving me the chance to share my very little experience of how little maybe I know about Massoud, and having learned so much from yourselves in here. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We'll move on to our next speaker. Our next speaker has served in the field with Massoud during the military struggles and is an Algerian politician and writer, and is currently London based. Can I pass over to Abdullah Anas for the next contribution?
First of all, I would like to thank all the organizers of this event and the distinguished guests. I would like to start from the word, quote the word of Mr. Mackenzie when he say, I was gifted to come across with Ahmad Shah Massoud. Me too. I was gifted by Allah to live, to come across, to meet to live, to fight, to cry, to laugh with this great man from 85 till the collapse of the communist regime in Kabul in 1992. And I tried to do my best to answer, because I know there is no time to go through the legacy and the quality, the values, the greatness of this man. The time is not enough to mention that, but I would like to remember or to remind the readers or the audience that we mentioned this in the later published my book, To the Mountains, My Life in Jihad from Algeria to Afghanistan. And then I tried to be in details who was Ahmad Shah Massoud. I would prefer people to go to that book to find who was, what the greatness of this man. But here, because the time is short, I would like to mention one point. When we try to remember the legacy of Ahmad Shah Massoud, we are between two legacies: the military legacy and the social and political legacy. The military, which is people, books were published regarding this powerful side of Ahmad Shah Massoud, which is the military side. But I think the more practical side, the more side can make or can shape the future of Afghanistan is the social and the political side, which is, I am sure, inshallah, the new generations, they will, Massoud changed for a great figure to a school. Now we are dealing with the school, with the vision, with the philosophy, with the political and social project. And the new generations, they have this golden opportunity to transfer this great personality from just to talk about the past and the history to shape the future. So this is the hope. This is the dream we are hoping to see in the future, not only in Afghanistan. I am sure the Muslim world, the Arab world, same as Afghanistan, are suffering from the extremism based on the ethnicity or the ideology or the communist or secularism or Islamism. This kind of ideologies are defeating the countries. I think there is a full answer, clear answer, simple answer of how to solve this kind of extremism when you judge the social and the political issues. And Ahmad Shah Massoud got the final answer of this. And I hope the new generations will transfer that to a political project to Afghanistan, inshallah. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Abdullah Anas. It's much appreciated. I have to bring this to everyone that we have got Ahmad Massoud here. I can see him. He is the only son of our legendary leader, Ahmad Shah Massoud. So Ahmad is taking his father's place in Panjshir right now. He has a lot of responsibilities and work to do, but we are very lucky to have him here. If he wishes to speak, maybe a couple of words thanking guests here on behalf of himself and his family. Ahmad, I will just, you can speak if you would like to speak. I'm sure a lot of people would like to hear you.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. First, I'm going to speak to all friends, and I'd like to thank you, Mr. Bustani, and all the people who organized this. And thank you very much for this, and I welcome everyone who's participating in this debate. I'm so sorry that I've been a bit late in this meeting, in this gathering. Unfortunately, I had a meeting to attend, and I just finished the meeting and I tried to catch it as soon as I could. I heard some of the talks of Sheikh Abdullah Anas. It was great, and I'm sure that all the other distinguished guests and distinguished speakers, they spoke about many sides of Ahmad Shah Massoud. And the only thing that I want to add is that how his message, and just the way that Sheikh Anas, my ustaz and my teacher, and he just spoke to us, that his way of life and his struggle, his conflict, his war, and all the things that he did, it turned now into a school, it turned into a path that we can follow. And now that we are on the verge of another peace process, it is very important that we remember how he was, what he did, why he fought, and why he was struggling. And everything that he did in his amazing life, that he achieved, that now that we are gathering from all around the world, from different countries, different backgrounds, we are all based on the love of Ahmad Shah Massoud for humanity. We believe in amazing values that he cherished and that he loved, so much, that he dared, so much, that we should follow. And I believe that if we follow that, and if we follow that path, that the new generation of Afghanistan, that if they follow, I believe that future of Afghanistan is very much bright, that we can get past all these negativity and the darkness that is holding us, that is surrounding us at this very moment, unfortunately. Afghanistan, after the 19 years, although that Ahmad Shah Massoud lost his life and gave his life for this country, and although that many other people in the past 19 years, they have lost their lives, they gave their life, is still and yet to have peace at last. And I believe the reason being is that we are far from the dream that Ahmad Shah Massoud had for this country, that we are far from the dream that many martyrdoms of Afghanistan that they fought for, that we are far from that. And I believe that the new generation of Afghanistan and the world, by recognizing what exactly that these amazing figures, especially Ahmad Shah Massoud, wanted, that by understanding that and achieving that, I believe Afghanistan finally can have a lasting peace. If not, if again it is a superficial one, if again it is something that we are trying to solve momentarily conflict between the two sides, I believe it is just temporarily, it is gonna be for a short time, and again another war can break out any moment. Ahmad Shah Massoud mentioned that he was in love with peace, that he wanted justice, that he wanted Afghanistan to be a united country, and he believed that united nation in here and that a united people in here in Afghanistan, it can only be achieved, and the unity in Afghanistan can only be achieved through social justice. And he believed it won't be happening and it won't be possible, but that Afghanistan political system can see a drastic change, and it can see from a centralized government, which is the real enemy of Afghanistan and problem in Afghanistan, to a decentralized one. That we also, in the new generation of Afghanistan, we are trying to achieve that goal of Ahmad Shah Massoud in bringing a lasting peace in Afghanistan. So now that it has been 1 year, that the people of Afghanistan, that they gave a responsibility to their new generation, that we are trying to gather all friends, that in these moments that we have all these amazing figures who know Ahmad Shah Massoud the best, that I invite them, that we should all gather together and to find what Ahmad Shah Massoud really wanted for Afghanistan and for the world, that we believe that we can achieve that goal and we can make Ahmad Shah Massoud memory live forever by bringing the peace that Afghans really deserve, that Afghans really want, and to really create the system and government. That just the way Ahmad Shah Massoud said, that Mr. Pompeo repeated yesterday, that Afghans in this country can live peacefully with themselves and with the world. Once again, I'd like to thank everyone, especially Mr. Bostani and his team, for organizing this event and this amazing gathering. And I'd like to thank every speakers as well. And I'd like to invite all of amazing speakers who are outside the country that to come to Afghanistan anytime they want. We would be very happy and delighted to have them here in Afghanistan. And I invite them to be a part of a bigger discourse, which is that the goals of Ahmad Shah Massoud, that we can have a group to talk about this, that we can have a team to work on this, that Mr. Bostani and his team and many others, they can organize this, that we can have, we have a 1 year till the 20th anniversary of Ahmad Shah Massoud, that we can publish a good article or a good publication on Ahmad Shah Massoud's dreams for Afghanistan and how we can achieve it. And it can be a draft, it can be a roadmap for the people like myself, the new generation, to follow and to achieve that.
Thank you very much. Okay, Bob and Patrick, that's you. Sorry, I just interrupted.
And also, Mr. Bostani, that I have to rush to another meeting. I just wanted to say, thank you to all of you. Great job, amazing work, mashallah. And to say hi to every friend of my father who are here. And see you guys next time. And I have to rush to another meeting, unfortunately.
Yeah. No, thank you. Thank you so much for giving us your time. That was unexpected, but very, very fitting. And great to hear the inspiration and the legacy of your father. So thank you again for joining us.
No worries. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Have a good time.
Thank you. There we go. Well, that was unexpected, I think, but it's really made this event even more memorable. So thank you for helping to arrange all of that. The final speaker we might hear from just very briefly is Niven Rennie from the Scottish Violence Reduction Unit, and I think he was quite keen to be able to contribute to today's discussion and offer his own reflections. So Niven, maybe just very briefly, if you don't mind.
Yeah, thank you very much. It's always an issue when your last speaker, you either have to speak for double your length of time or cut it down to a few moments. So I'm very welcome that this opportunity to speak here. I've learned so much about Ahmad Shah Massoud, and it's a great honour to represent not just the Violence Reduction Unit, but also Civic Scotland in drawing this to a conclusion. Some of the words that have been used about empathy and love and compassion are things that we talk about regularly, and I think that we have an awful lot in common to share, and that's fantastic. I have personal knowledge of the Afghan community in Scotland through my time with Seascape, the homeless charity in South Ayrshire, where we worked with Fahim Rahimi, who ended up being an employee and is assisting people who are unfortunate in South Ayrshire. And what a great way to represent the Afghani community in Scotland. And also in our own work in the VRU through Khadija Cole, who's been very nice of you to invite her along today as well. Khadija works with New Scots, not just from Afghanistan, but from Eritrea and Somalia, Syria, all coming with trauma from their history. And there's a lot of work for us to do there. And if I had more time, I'd go into some of that work. But I know time is short. So I just really want to draw to conclusion. We've talked about your national hero, Ahmad Shah Massoud. My national hero is Robert Burns. And he said that his wish was that man for man, the world o'er, shall brothers be for all that. And I think that'd be a nice way to bring this to conclusion. The hope that we can all be brothers across the world. Thank you.
Thank you, Niven. I think that's very fitting indeed. I'll let Bob say some thank yous, and then I think we should probably give the very last word to the Lion of Glasgow, Abdul Bastani himself, who once again has put in a huge amount of work to pull all this together. I was thinking when we do this down here in the House of Commons, it's normally standing room only. And I think we've effectively had whatever the Zoom equivalent of standing room only is. I know there are a few people who were trying to get into the conversation, but haven't been able to. And the other thing I don't have, and I'm really sorry, Abdul, I meant to go upstairs and get my hat, my Pakul hat for the photo op, but I've left it up the stairs. So I'll dig it out maybe and get a picture later on. But just from my perspective, thank you to all the participants. Thank you to everyone that's been on the call, participating in the audience. And I think we've all been inspired once again by the commemoration of the life of Ahmad Shah Massoud. Bob, I don't know if you want to say anything before we hand over to Abdul to just close it off.
Just very, very briefly, I'm kind of struck by how there's a kind of cliched saying that all politics is local, and I've got such a wonderful and diverse community that I represent right across Maryhill and Springburn.